China and India, the world's largest importers of Russian oil, have begun suspending purchases from Moscow following new U.S. sanctions. This unprecedented move by Russia's two biggest energy customers signals a potential turning point in the economic pressure campaign against the Kremlin. For nearly 3 years since the Ukraine conflict began, Beijing and New Delhi have been Russia's economic lifeline, purchasing discounted crude oil despite Western pressure. Together, they account for over 70% of Russia's seaborne oil exports. That relationship now appears to be fracturing. Chinese state-owned energy companies have quietly halted all seaborne Russian crude purchases, according to multiple industry sources. The decision came within hours of Washington announcing sanctions on Rosneft and Lukoil, which supply nearly half of Russia's oil exports. Beijing has not made any official statement, but the immediate suspension suggests concerns about violating U.S. financial restrictions. In India, the response has been more public. Reliance Industries, the subcontinent's largest private refiner and biggest buyer of Russian crude, confirmed it is reassessing all Russian oil imports. A company spokesperson stated they will act in complete alignment with Indian government directives. Other major Indian refiners are reportedly following suit, creating what analysts call a buyer's strike on Russian energy. Russian President Vladimir Putin responded Thursday, calling the sanctions unfriendly steps and a failed attempt to pressure Russia. Speaking to Russian journalists, Putin stated, "No self-respecting country ever bows to pressure." While acknowledging potential economic damage, he maintained the impact would be limited. Since 2022, both nations have saved billions of dollars purchasing Russian oil at steep discounts, sometimes $20 to $30 per barrel below global prices. For India, this helped shield its economy from global energy inflation. For China, it provided cheap feedstock for the world's largest manufacturing sector. The sanctions mechanism is particularly clever. Rather than directly prohibiting purchases, it threatens to cut off any company dealing with Rosneft or Lukoil from the U.S. financial system. For Chinese and Indian companies with global operations, the choice becomes clear: Russian oil or access to dollar transactions. The timing couldn't be worse for Moscow. Oil and gas revenues constitute approximately 20% of Russia's GDP and fund much of its state budget. Losing China and India simultaneously would eliminate most of Russia's remaining energy export options, as European markets have already largely closed. Russia has relied on what experts call a shadow fleet, aging tankers operating through shell companies to maintain oil flows. But even these workaround methods require buyers at the destination. Without Chinese and Indian refiners willing to accept deliveries, the shadow fleet becomes irrelevant. Neither Beijing nor New Delhi has officially endorsed the U.S. sanctions. Both maintained neutral stances on the Ukraine conflict, balancing Western relationships with Russian energy needs. Their current actions appear driven by practical business concerns rather than geopolitical alignment. But the effect on Russia remains the same. Market analysts project global oil prices could rise 5% as Russian barrels disappear from international markets. Paradoxically, this could benefit other producers while forcing China and India to pay more for alternative supplies from the Middle East and Africa. The key question now, is this suspension temporary while companies assess risks, or does it mark a permanent shift in global energy flows? With a 1-month grace period before sanctions fully activate, Moscow has limited time to find new buyers or convince its largest customers to return.